Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so glad to have you, and I have a very special guest here with me today, and I'm excited to introduce Angela, but before I do, I just want to remind you something really quick. If you're watching this video on my Facebook page, which I didn't even introduce myself, if you're new to my channel, my name is Princella Stringer. And I'd love it if you would pop on every once in a while to see these videos we have on what does Limitless Woman mean to you. And I've invited Angela to talk about that today, and I'm really, really excited to have her on. So I welcome you to come back to this channel and watch continued videos after this, sharing what women believe, what Limitless Woman means to them. And so, Angela, thank you for joining me on my page. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to geek out on this subject with you.
Yes, we totally geeked out earlier today, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes, yes. It's so important to have these conversations. And as a matter of fact, when you and I talked earlier, I shared my heart on what Limitless Woman meant to me. And it completely ignited the reason that I'm doing this to begin with. And so we talked about that a little bit. Before I get into that, though, I'd love for you to share a little bit more about what you do today and what kind of, maybe a little bit about what got you excited about joining in on this video series with me.
Oh, sure. Well, thanks again for having me. So, I'm a certified life coach, and my specific niche is helping high achieving women stop over drinking. So a lot of times, and this is sort of like goes back into my story, but I was somebody who had a very high stress job, and I also have 3 little kids and a family and all the things, right? And I overdrank for many, many years. It started in college. But I found, like, especially once I had the kids and I was in work and traveling, all this, I was like needing wine more and more to sort of like get through the evenings and the end of the day. And I had a lot of anxiety. And basically what happened was I hired a life coach, and I went all in on figuring that out for myself, and also weight loss. I was constantly battling my weight for my entire adult life, and I decided to go all in and be like, this is the last time I'm going to lose all this weight and I never want to do this again. And so in that journey, I found that drinking wine was really holding me back from a lot of things, not just weight loss, but living the life that I wanted to live and in my career and everything. So I sort of kind of stopped drinking in that process. But when I did that and, did what I coach my clients now to do, my life completely opened up. And now it's my mission to help other women like me experience the same thing, and not only just getting through it without wine, but thriving through it.
Wow.
Instead of, it's just amazing what you can do when you get a hold of your brain and manage your emotions and just kind of take charge and take your power back in some areas of your life that you may not have had complete control of.
Right, right. You're making me think about the reason that I was so fascinated by life coaching and started doing my own self-development and then studies and some coaching training, and still on that path. I'm so appreciative of this journey because like you and I, we have our stories in what led us to life coaching. And I don't think I got to share with you earlier, and I didn't introduce this conversation with you, that my story kind of starts with young motherhood and single motherhood. And I just kind of lost I don't think I gave myself a chance to figure me out, and that really led to a path of just doing barely what I needed to do, not really understanding what I wanted to do and losing my voice in that process. And then once I realized that, yeah, I have an opinion, I have a voice, and I want to help other women share their voice, now that I'm realizing that, oh my word, I was holding myself back.
Yeah.
So that's, just a little nugget in what led me to this path. But you asked me a really great question that I didn't think about answering for myself. Well, I mean, I did in my own way. It's what led me to do an event here in Benton Harbor, Michigan in February. And the event was titled Limitless Woman. And what impacted me so much about that event, which was my very first event, so I feel so thankful to have had the experience. And we'll have another one in August. I wish you were closer, but in that event, we found out women's hearts and what they felt about limitless woman and a limitless mindset, you know. And so why don't I'll just take a minute to share a little bit about what I shared with you on our call earlier today. So you asked me, well, what does limitless woman mean to you? And I got to like open up this whole train of thought that I hadn't thought about before. And a couple of years ago, my pastor's wife, Cindy Bennett, here in Benton Harbor, Michigan, from Overflow Church, she had this presentation, and she had this amazing visual for us on the big computer screen. And it was, you know, we see the earth in the computer screen. And she's describing what our dream, the way we envision our dream, and the way God envisions, or what a God-sized dream would look like. And so you see on the screen the earth, and then it like slowly pans out, and you see, you know, she's saying that the earth is our dream. Next thing you know, it's little tiny thing, and you see the vast universe. And she says, that is what the God-sized dream really is for you. And my mind was just blown, like, oh my word, you know, the earth is huge in our eyes, right?
Right.
It's huge in our eyes. And when we think about our own dream, it feels big. But when we think about what God's dream is for us, it's massive, and He believes we have it in us. He tells us that we have it in us to accomplish His God-sized dream for us. And that's where the seed was planted a couple years ago, and then the seed just kind of grew from there to my own self-development and training. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that idea. I believe in universal energy and like the sort of like the power of the universe, and we aren't limited to our bodies, right? Like we are connected, you know, some people think it's spiritually or there's a God. I like to think of it as an energy to the world, and our physical being is just a vehicle to that. And we have this unlimited source. Like if we can think it, we can make it. And we shouldn't be limited by our pasts or experiences or our current situation, because we can change all of it. And I love that you are sort of bringing this conversation up, because so many of us don't challenge our current situations, and then we feel stuck and we don't know how to get unstuck with whatever it is, especially with like people in our age and women and having kids, and they've sort of done the things that they wanted to do, had the family, did the career, bought the house, all of that stuff. And then you're like, now what? It doesn't have to. You don't have to stay there. You can evolve to the next level. You can do other things. You can completely scrap it all and start over. And there's so much limiting beliefs we have about ourselves. And I think your topic is just awesome to sort of like kind of get those creative juices flowing and challenging sort of the current norm that we have, a lot of us just sort of settled into, and now we feel unhappy and we may overeat or overdrink or overspend or do all these other things from outside of ourselves to try to make ourselves feel better, when you can change starting from within you. And all of it, you're right, it's like it comes from with you, and your limitless ability to do these things is generated from within inside. Nothing outside of you can do that.
Right. You know, and that was one of the things that I started to see forming in the women that were answering that question at the event in February. You can almost see their spirit like lighting up with getting the wheels turning. What does this mean to me? To me, you know, and it's a beautiful thing to watch that process, to watch that happen for someone else, to see that light up.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you shared a lot right now that's kind of maybe more driven by what you do as a life coach. I consider myself an empowerment coach where I focus on inspiring and motivating women. I know you do something very similar in a particular niche. So, through your experience, personal experience, or through your professional experience, what does Limitless Woman mean to you?
It can mean so many things. I think for me, just knowing the journey that I've been on and my past. So like, going back to when I was working in an advertising agency and things are tumultuous and a lot of moving parts, and I didn't feel like I had a lot of power there. And then I, didn't feel like I had things control at home with the kids. And like, if one little piece got messed up or somebody got sick or missed the bus, the whole cascade of events would happen. And it was like, everything had to always work out perfectly or it was just a shit show. And, right. And so when I think now about like limitless power and where I was and where I am now, I was giving my power away back then to my boss, to my job, to the kids' school schedules, to them being sick, all of these things.
Yeah.
And the difference for me now with the power is that I now know how to generate power and everything can still stay the same. And I know how to generate my own power and I can be in control when things are crazy in life, right? Like, so like something's always going to happen. Somebody always gets sick, people die, people get divorced, like things come up in our lives where we don't really expect them to. But that is also something we can always count on, is something always happening to kind of like get us off balance, right?
Yeah.
And so now like my power that I generate within myself based on whatever I'm thinking about the said situation. And I always have that power.
Right.
And that's what I try to teach my clients, is that especially when it comes to over drinking or overeating or any of that kind of thing, or relationships is a big one for like spousal relationships or work relationships, is that a power is it's an emotion, it's a feeling that you get to experience. And nobody can take your power away. Nobody can limit your power because it's always in you. You just sometimes need help finding it and like having somebody guide you to find it, but
Right.
it's always there. And it's a limitless resource.
Right. You just so sucked me in right now. I felt like I was in a coaching session with you. Oh my gosh, you said that so beautifully, and that we have that, and that nobody can take that away from us. And if we all could just tap into that just a little bit more, maybe on the daily, what we can do.
Yeah, like on the daily, I think that's like one little, like I like to tell my clients and, my people that follow along is like, when you're going throughout your day and you feel like you're not in control and you feel like things are happening to you, right? You can just ask yourself, how can I think about this in a way that will give me some more power?
Mm.
And that's all you have to do. Like, that's just one simple trick that you can do, is like, how can I control me? How can I control my thoughts and my feelings in the situation? And when you ask your brain that, you'll be amazed at what the answers come. Your brain wants to solve these problems for you and go to work for you. You just have to know how to manage it. And the power is just ready to be tapped into. It's amazing.
It is amazing. Oh, I'm so thankful that you came on to join me today. And I completely didn't expect the twist and the turn that was going to come in our initial conversation to how we were going to have this conversation today. So I'm so thankful for you, because you allowed me the space to share what this means to me. And I was so focused on other women sharing what it means to them. And this is a wonderful start and a wonderful kickoff to this series, where we'll be talking to women in all different walks of life, entrepreneurs, women that work in corporate America, stay-at-home moms. One woman's recently lost her job. And then to have you join me for the very first video where we talk about how women can really help themselves to find that level of awareness within themselves, is a wonderful way to kick off this series. So I so appreciate you being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love talking about this and empowering women to, take charge and just know that you don't have to be a victim to your circumstances. And whether you are a victim or you are going through something tough or not, like oftentimes we give our emotional well-being away to other people. And I love just teaching people that that's just not how it works. Like you always are in charge of your own emotional, like nobody can make you feel a certain way. And power is one of those things, like once you accept that and you
Yeah.
can lock into be like, oh, even though like there's might be a fight going on or something else happening, I
Yeah.
am always in control, right? And like you can
Yes.
just feel better so much faster knowing that.
Knowing that, yes, yes, that was like, wow, light bulb moment where what? I don't have to stay in this state. I can choose to say, I'm
Yeah.
not going to accept this. Yeah, it's an amazing
Yeah.
place to be in. So I hope that those that are watching and listening today understand that from what you shared in your professional opinion, because you worked with many clients and have been in this industry much longer than I have. And so it's exciting to hear your input and your experience from working with women as well. So appreciate you being here, and I hope we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, no problem. And if people want to reach out to me, can I tell them how to get in touch?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if we're on Facebook, you can find me at Coach with Angela Mescenik. And you can also just go to my website, angelamescenik.com. And I also have a podcast. It's called Stop Over Drinking and Start Living. And it's on iTunes and all the, regular podcast players. So
Okay, wonderful. I look forward to hearing it. I haven't heard your podcast yet, so I am so excited to listen to it and hop on there. But thanks again for joining me, and it's great to have you. It's great talking with you.
okay, thank you. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.